Welcome back everyone to the video, and today we are talking about Cam Ward, the second quarterback prospect that I've reviewed so far. I already did a brief video just like this going over Shedeur Sanders. If you want to see that, go check that out. But today is Cam Ward, and so I do want to say just first and foremost, these videos I'm doing right now are very similar to the ones I do in the NFL, which if you're a new viewer are usually pretty brief. I don't go super in depth in these, but as draft season approaches, I will go more in depth and actually rank some of these prospects, and then we'll do mock drafts and so on and so on. Same for NFL. If I do brief videos like this, just kind of talk, get some thoughts out there, hear your guys' thoughts, that kind of thing. I do more in-depth rankings and videos and stuff like that along the way too. So, with that said, for this video, I'm not going to go super in-depth and grade Cam Ward and all this stuff, but I do want to talk about some of his strengths and weaknesses, where I could see him actually being drafted as far as what round or pick, and all that kind of stuff. So first off, if you guys are new around here, make sure to subscribe button. It is free and takes just a second. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and honestly, if we hit that before summer, I will buzz and bleach my head and put 1K. I'm not even sure that's going to work, but we're going to do it anyway. So if you want to see that, subscribe. Don't miss an NFL video. Don't miss a video going over draft prospects, all that kind of stuff. I would really appreciate the support there. So one thing that stuck out to me about Cam Ward, though, and really Shedeur Sanders, both are pretty creative players. They can extend plays really well. And a lot of what I saw from Cam Ward, though, that stuck out to me was he's very, very calm under pressure. I mean, there's times where he's like literally flat-footed in the pocket, just throws the ball. Looks effortless. That's probably his biggest strength, in my opinion, is that he's incredibly creative, and he's a very just good thrower of the football. It looks very clean. It looks very natural. He can put a lot of power behind it. He has a nice touch pass as well. His accuracy is honestly very, very, I would say, consistent across the field. He can throw deep well. He can throw intermediate well. He can throw short well. Something that stuck out to me, though, I'm not sure this is like a consensus around him or what, but his red zone play, including accuracy, was very, very good to me. For at least from what I saw, I thought he was honestly really good in the red zone, because he's able to put the ball on those nice little outs to receivers, or slant routes even, and he is dangerous with his legs, but he's not. And I want to kind of elaborate on that. So one strength of his, in my opinion, is that he is a sneaky good runner. He's athletic. He's mobile. He can move around the pocket, evade pressure, that kind of thing. From what I've seen, and even just watching too, and I've read stuff up on him and all kinds of stuff, is that he just doesn't use it very much. And I think it does not take very long watching him to see that as well. There's times where he can clearly, it looks like, have space to get out of pressure or to run for just like a 4-yard gain. Instead, he kind of extends the play, throws it deep, nothing happens. Where, take the 4-yard run, get a bounce, lifts in there down, that kind of safe thing. He doesn't always do that. So I would like to see that be cleaned up at the next level. I think that can definitely be not really cleaned up, but almost just kind of encourage him to run more. I mean, I'm not sure that's just like a natural thing for him, if he's second guesses himself. I'm not totally sure, but I think Cam Ward has a lot of potential, to be honest with you. Another thing about Cam Ward is that he is smart sometimes, and what I mean by that is kind of similar to his running ability, like I just mentioned, where it's a strength and a weakness. For his intelligence, it seems like as a player, he's able to pre-snap. He makes a lot of good adjustments. He does change pass protection, but at the same time, that's a weakness because sometimes he just assumes what he's seeing is what they're going to be in. And especially at the NFL level, they can disguise that. They'll move guys around. It will not always be like that. And I think because of that, it gets him to be a bit too comfortable because he just assumes he knows what the defense is in. And sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes he reads it wrong. Sometimes they adjust. Sometimes they disguise. Whatever it may be, that, I think, confidence and, I know what they're doing, I'll check to this. Whereas, yeah, that's the right play, but that's not always what they're in. You still have to, go through your progressions post-snap, reading the defense to see where guys are going. I think sometimes he tends to just see it, assume they're in it, and then test that coverage immediately. There was times that I saw that it looked like a guy would be open. All of a sudden, the defender makes a play on the ball or makes a break on the ball, breaks it up, whatever it is. So I think that is something that definitely has to be fixed at the next level because it's only going to get tougher from here in the NFL. Defensive lines can be faster, not as much time to throw. As far as the coverage thing, I mean, if it's not working testing coverages in college, it's not going to work testing coverages in the NFL. That needs to be fixed. But again, about the D-line being faster, one thing I want to say about Cam Ward that I saw as a big strength of his is that he gets the ball quick. And if he feels that he knows where the ball should be, he can get there in under 2 seconds pretty easily, which I can't remember the average time to throw in the NFL. I think it's like 2.5. That should not be a problem for Cam Ward. I mean, he can get the ball out. That's definitely one of his strengths. He can put a lot of power behind it, a lot of speed behind it. That's just probably my favorite thing about him is he seems to be a very well polished passer. It's just a matter of cleaning up bad tendencies like testing coverages or not using his legs enough, not taking what the defense gives him. Things like that that just seem like he could be just so much, like just so much better, a much better prospect overall if he would actually clean those things up. Which again, nobody's perfect. Every prospect's going to have their flaws. But Cam Ward, I mean, the potential is there in my opinion. So another thing about Cam Ward though, and so I do want to talk about this because this is very, very important. I've seen this, I've seen it just watching him play throughout the year. I've seen it going back and watching him. I've seen people write up on it as far as articles about Cam Ward or just the mock drafts and stuff already. I think what everyone can see for the most part is that he relies on himself a bit too much at the end of games. That hero ball tendency really hurts him. And I don't even mean in the big way of running around, throwing an interception, losing the game. I mean literally just marching on the field in a must-score situation, and he's just trying to make too many plays with his legs, trying to extend plays too much, trying to test the coverage, when in reality, there's a 4-yard curl or hitch route right there. Just hit that, take what the defense gives you. He doesn't tend to do that. I think it seems like watching him, when that hero ball kicks in, he thinks he needs it all this play, every play. And I think that's the issue. And especially at the NFL level, you cannot do that. That's what made guys like Tom Brady so good. In those clutch situations, he would just dice at the defense up and down the field. I mean, if it was a minute 30, he was taking what the defense gave him, whether it was 4 yards or 15 yards, because then it opens up the field. If you're taking the underneath stuff and they play that a bit more, maybe it's something over the top, maybe it's something in the middle, maybe it's something to the outside. It really opens the defense. If you are relying so heavily on your own ability and thinking you have to get as far down the field as possible, as quick as possible, it hurts your team. It hurts your team. It hurts yourself. Cam Ward tends to do that a bit too much, and that does have to be cleaned up because you're not going to succeed in NFL high-pressure situations at the end of games if you are solely trying to do it yourself and not just take some of the easy stuff. Extend the drives. Just extend the drives. If you have like a 2nd and 9 and there is a pass for 5 yards open and instead you tried to run around and get something deep and you get sacked for a loss of 2, well, all of a sudden, now it's, I think I said 2nd and 9. It'd be 3rd and 11. It could have been, 3rd and 4. It's a big difference at the end of games. It's a big difference throughout the game, but especially at the end of games when you need to score in those must-score situations. That, to me, is Cam Ward's biggest issue. And the thing that has to be cleaned up first and foremost is you got to understand the guys around you, the offense, understand the defense, which is weird in my opinion because he's so comfortable reading the defense. You would think he would be more comfortable taking what it gives him in those scenarios, but it really just seems like he feels like maybe it's pressure. I don't know what it is. It feels like he thinks he has to take over, make these big splash plays when you don't need it all quite yet. And that's what's, I think, really holding him back. Now, there's other weaknesses we could talk about that kind of fall under a big umbrella. I could see the hero ball thing leading to a few other of his issues, like testing coverage, where he thinks he has the coverage immediately, he throws it, interception. Whether it's a turnover issue, extending plays, doesn't see pressure, gets strip sacked, that kind of thing. It can all kind of fall under that, which, yeah, those are weaknesses as well. But I think if the biggest thing gets cleaned up, the other things will follow as well, which, again, to be fair, ball security stuff, testing coverage is not exclusive to the end of the game. That's, throughout the game that he needs to get cleaned up. But I do think the hero ball thing, if that can be fixed, I think it'll give him a lot more confidence in those late game situations because he's very poised. He's very poised under pressure. I mean, watching it, he seems like he's very comfortable in these situations. It's just feeling like he needs it all at once when he just doesn't. So that's something that I think really has to be cleaned up. But overall, I like Cam Ward a lot as a prospect. I'm going to be honest, if he was in last year's quarterback class, not too sure how high he would go. Obviously, this year he's projected 1 or 2 or 3, whatever it is now, up there with Shedeur Sanders. Now, my last video on Shedeur Sanders, if you want to watch it, go check it out. If you don't, I'll just say it right now. I'm not super high on him. I think there is potential there. There are things he does really, really well, but there's also things he just hasn't proven to do well. And while it doesn't mean he can't be good at the next level, it just means that because he is, a top 2 quarterback prospect this year, doesn't mean he's worth taking him that high. And I think a team can get burned pretty badly reaching this year because they're desperate, getting a guy that really shouldn't be taken that high. and it not going well. I'm not saying that's going to happen. That's a fear of mine with Shedeur Sanders, though, is that he is going to be taken very high out of desperation, and it's not going to work out well to that NFL team. Now, for what's worth, though, Cam Ward, again, I don't think he is the greatest prospect in the world. If this was last year, I wouldn't have him above Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels or Drake May. I can't remember Bo Nix as a prospect too much off the top of my head right now, but I don't know if Cam Ward would be over him. Might be a bit more even, I guess, but still, I do think the potential is there. What I would like to see, though, is I'd like to see him go to a team that has direction, because I think throwing him in a team, or any rookie for that matter, but especially Cam Ward, because of his tendencies, if you put him on a team with not a lot of help and a dysfunctional coach just trying to save his job, it's going to get really ugly really quick. Cam Ward needs an organization that has a direction, a good coach, and some somewhat decent weapons to give him a chance here because of that hero ball thing. So if he goes to a team that does not have a lot of that, I think the hero ball only gets worse because he's going to feel even more on his own to make things happen. So, again, number one overall pick right now is the Tennessee Titans. Do they go Shedeur? Do they go Cam Ward? In my opinion, if you're going quarterback, you're going Cam Ward, and you're just going to kind of live with the results at that point. I don't think Shedeur is really going to be worth it as number one overall pick. I'll be the first to admit if I'm wrong on that, but I really don't think so. These are just off the top of my head some of the biggest things for Cam Ward, though. So if you guys enjoyed, be sure to leave a like down below and subscribe. Also, in the top left, I guess kind of a sneak peek at my next video, I guess, is the NFL tier list video for quarterbacks for all of 2024 and 2025. It's been very difficult to get those rankings out. We're going 1 through 32 on that tier list. So not the like S, A, B, C, D tiers. No, we're ranking 1, 2, 3, 4, which is very, very difficult. It was a great season as far as quarterback play goes. So be on the lookout for that video. I want to say next I have a Malik Neighbors video coming out. Then I have the tier list. I'll probably have an Ashton Jeanty video coming out, and then Travis Hunter on the way as well. If you guys want to see more quarterbacks other than Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, let me know. This is a very weird class because there are some quarterback needy teams, but it's not a very deep quarterback class. You have Carson Beck deciding to go back to college, so he's not even in it. Quinn Ewers is going to enter the draft, so he is in it. It's an interesting mix of quarterbacks and what their potential really sits at right now. I think Cam Ward's a great athlete. I like to see him just run the ball more, take what the defense gives you, and you'd be a whole lot better. I think it'd be way less turnovers. He's a great passer up and down the field, so the potential is there for me. I think if the Titans picked him, I'd be very happy. I think the fans would be happy. Shedeur is a bit riskier in my opinion, but again, these are just my early 2025 NFL draft thoughts. We'll have more detailed stuff and actual rankings and grades probably within the next couple months. So, yeah, if that's something interesting to you guys, be sure to subscribe down below. I would really appreciate it on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace out.